Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt, joined by my good buddy Adam Glyn out in Nueva York.
It's cold. It's wet. It's I'm ready for the winter to be over. I've been hibernating a little bit. I'm working hard. I'm always working hard, but I'm not working as hard as I usually do because it's just, your feet are wet.
Because you're a pansy. Adam. Get out there. Your parents did it uphill both ways in the snow, and you can't even stand out in a little sprinkling. Come on, buddy.
That is true, but it sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. I'm going out to Ohio this weekend to go to the Arnold Classic. It's the Arnold Schwarzenegger's big bodybuilding strongman competition in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm going out to that. So I'm just getting ready to get my stuff together. I wish it wasn't somewhere warm, but that's what I'm getting ready to do for the weekend.
Nice. Well, that'll be fun. Say hi to Arnold for me.
Will do. He'll say
we
hello
go way back. Way back.
Yes. The old Gold's Gym days.
All right, guys, let's get into the rundown this week. This is obviously when we get you caught up on all the hot entertainment stories of the week. Make sure that you did not miss anything that happened in entertainment news, and we try to get you in and out in at least like a half hour. We started as 20 minutes. We never make 20 minutes, so let's be honest and say it'll probably be about a half hour, but we try to get you all the details for all the good stories that you may have missed. But before I get into that, let me read a couple reviews real fast. This one comes from Your Stellar, 5 stars, and also 4 hearts were given. I love you guys. You are the only podcast that I listen to religiously. And if you had a Patreon, I would 100% be forking over that cash. TMZ was my favorite show back in the day, and Raw even tops it. Hashtag top notch. I did that on purpose. Anyone interested in pop culture and behind the scenes scoop will love this and never stop listening. P.S. Todd Chrisley 100% likes the wanger. I want to actually print this one out and frame it. This one is the best. I love this review.
Chrisley loves the one. That's great. That's a really fun review.
That was a fun
I appreciate
I like
that. Thank you. You got one more?
Yeah, I got one more. All right. This one is from Jenny Hodges, 75, 5-star. Love you guys. Found you a few years ago and haven't missed an episode. Look forward to it. You guys are awesome. Never miss an episode. Aw, thanks, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Appreciate it.
Just keep the reviews coming. It's the best thing to do to support us.
I'm running out. I'm totally running out of reviews here. So if you want to hear your review, you could probably leave one and it'll be read within the next couple of weeks because I've gone through 700 and some. So please submit some new reviews. You'll probably hear your name quickly. All right, let's jump into this.
Do it. Yeah. All right. Starting the top 10 stories of the week, starting with number 10. Dax, what's number 10?
Number 10 is Drake saying he regrets naming some of his exes in songs and how it affects their lives. He says he likes to be honest, but he's had conversation with a couple of his exes at this point, and he's like, I didn't really ever have like a ill intent. But he's like, but I like being honest. So I guess this is all went down during the Future Mode's premiere episode of Moody Conversations with Lil Yachty last week. Drake was on there chatting with Lil Yachty, and he said that one of his ex confronted him one time and said, look, you don't know my boyfriend at the time, or you don't know what my family knows or doesn't know about me. And if you express any form of discontent for me and call me by my name, call me by a name in a song, then all of a sudden I'm left to pick up all the pieces of my life that I've tried to rebuild for myself, basically after you. And I mean, fair point, right? Like, think about being named in a Drake song and how all the press and scrutiny is going to come down on you. And maybe you've been out of a relationship with Drake for 3 years now, but your name gets brought up. That's got to be tough.
It's got to be tough. It could be because your name gets thrown. There's some people that would beg for their name to be thrown into a Drake song. Like, for example, Michael Rubin, the billionaire who throws these big extravagant parties. I mean, he's in a Drake song. Drake says that he saw Michael Rubin win or lose $1 million in a hand of blackjack or some. I'm messing up the lyric, but like Michael Rubin, I'm sure loved that. But one of these exes, depending on who it is like, come on, now I gotta pay my publicist. It costs them money because then they have to pay their publicist to put out the statement if they can afford the publicist. It costs them money at the end of the day because they can't really respond to it because it gets very sticky and very tricky. But
who do you think? Do you think it was SZA that said this to him? Because keep in mind, she was in one of his songs. He's like the lyric was back like in 2000. I don't remember when this one came out, but he basically said, "Yeah, I want to." Okay, he's talking about someone who he's dating now, and he said, "Yeah, she want to have sex with some SZA." Wait, because I used to date SZA back in 2008. So he alludes to SZA. I clearly no rapping here, and I was trying to make it a little like PC. He said the F word. I tried to cut it out, so it didn't really work as well. But nevertheless, I'm wondering if it's SZA that came up to him. He's talked about Jennifer Lopez. He's talked about Rihanna in songs. So I'm wondering which ex came up to him and had this conversation saying like, leave my name out of your songs, please.
I would guess SZA. However, I forgot. Is that true? That, and again, I'm not obsessed with Drake, but Drake dated J-Lo?
I mean, I think he's rapped about it. I don't know if he has actually dated her. I'm assuming he doesn't seem like someone that would lie about it.
That's pretty good. That's a good person having a resume. That's a cool one.
I always like when you call it a resume.
I mean, yeah, it's a cool name to be attached to. But listen, Drake has like been doing a lot of interviews lately. I feel like he's not a bad guy. I've met Drake a few times. There's people around him. Actually, we're gonna say this story I have a crazy Drake story. Did I ever tell you about the Drake
You can't
fight?
do that to people. You can't say, I've got a great story and then not say it, Adam.
Dax, I'm going to tell you about remind me, we're going to do an episode and I'll talk about the Drake fight one day.
Okay. So we're going to dedicate an episode to it is what you're saying.
We won't dedicate a whole episode, but that'll be part of the episode. This is the 30-minute rundown where we're trying to get you in and out real quick. But I don't know. I always get nervous telling you guys stories, but there is one of my craziest stories is a fight
that involved Drake.
That involved Drake.
See, okay, just stop talking because it's going to annoy me when you don't tell the story after.
I get it. But I'll say this. Ultimately, Drake is not like a bad guy. Like, he seems pretty cool. So I think it's cool that he said that. And I don't know. All right, move on. Let's move along. Yeah, I know. All right, let's move along to number 9 because everyone's going to be pissed. Why'd you tell the Drake story? I will tell the Drake fight story one day. But let's talk about number 9.
Number 9 is Hoda Kotb. She's been absent from the Today Show for quite a few days. I think the last time she was on air was February 17th, and that's right when like Savannah Guthrie tested positive for COVID, and so both of them went off the air. But they haven't come back, and so the host of the Today Show, who had been filling in for her, finally kind of addressed what the hell is going on, why Hoda hasn't been back. They've talked about Savannah still recovering from COVID, but like no mention of Hoda. So everyone's like, what's happening right now? So they went on to say today, or I guess yesterday, we mentioned that Savannah and Hoda are both off, and that let's see. Savannah is at home after testing positive from COVID yesterday. We are wishing a friend a speedy recovery. As for Hoda, we know a lot of you have been wondering how she's doing. We can tell you that Hoda's okay. She's got a family health matter that she's been dealing with. And so that is all they got into. They didn't say anything more than she's dealing with some family health matter. I don't know what that means, but I wish her well.
I love Hoda. I don't know. I love Hoda. I don't know if she. I'll say this. I'm a big Hoda fan. I don't know if she's like the 7 to 8 o'clock hour person because for me, I still always love like the Katie Couric, the Matt Lauer, the Brian Gummels, like that real journalist hour. But after that, like what you see of Hoda on TV, that's what she's
fun,
like in real
dude.
person. Yeah, she's the Hoda that you see on TV. That's what she's like in real person. Like that's her. Like, and I think in a morning show business where all these people are putting on like displays or trying to like. I don't know, clown it up a little bit. Like Hoda's the real deal. She's just so sweet. Like not like, Michael Strahan is not really. What a strange guy. But
he's not super sweet.
No. He used to be. He used to be great. He used to be before the Live with Kelly and all that stuff when he was just like a ex-football player. He used to be the coolest dude. And then once he got Kelly, the ego, everything that kind of went to his head, and it's not the same type guy. Like he's not
I'm
cool.
surprised to hear this. I thought he was an awesome dude. Like
I have had multiple
someone you'd
people
want to
say
hang out with on the weekend.
I would not want to hang out with him. I have nothing to say to him because I'm like, dude, that just grossed me out. Like when he started to get a little bit more clout, like it's just, we never really found out the truth what happened between him and Kelly Ripa, like the battling between, because they definitely didn't.
I think what came down with that whole situation was that ABC was going to move him. He couldn't tell her because it was like under wraps, because that was a big upgrade for him. And he couldn't legally tell her. And unfortunately, them being co-hosts, that's a shitty situation that ABC would have put him in. We're upgrading you. Don't tell your co-host until we break the news. And I think he was put in a worse situation than anything. And then, of course, that would ruin your relationship with your co-host because she's like, why wouldn't you tell me? Like, give me a heads up because this show depends on our chemistry and now you just left me. So I think that's where everything went sour.
You notice how we started from Hoda Copy, then got into really deep of Michael Strahan and Kelly Ripa. I don't know how that happened. But we started the story as obviously Hoda, they addressed her absence, but they didn't really address it. That's the funny part about it. We still don't know what's going on really with Hoda. I'm curious if she does get, I gotta imagine she'll get very honest when she kind of comes back fully. But I love Hoda. I think Hoda's like the sweetest. She's just a sweet, cool person. So I wish her well. I hope she comes back soon. All right, number 8.
Number 8, Wendy Williams is plotting her return to TV after all of her health struggles. She wants to get stuff going. Basically, her publicist, Sean Zanotti, I think is how you say Sean's last name, went out and put out a statement to Yahoo saying Wendy is working on several projects and that she's ready to get things rolling and back to the being Wendy Williams. Sean also went on to say that she's physically preparing. She's working out, she's eating healthy, she's doing all these things, she's dieting, she's exercising, she's going to the gym, and then said like she's looking good. And I don't know if I agree with that. That doesn't look healthy to me at all. The last couple paparazzi photos that I've seen of Wendy, she looks very skinny, very out of it. I don't know, man.
So here's what I'll tell you, and here's what I know. I think it's very strange when a publicist puts their name in their story. If they're saying, they're publicists. So I think that's a number one red flag. If I was a publicist, I wouldn't want my name in the story. A good publicist, it's not about the publicist, it's about the celebrity. Number 2, paparazzi, journalists, whatever you want to call them, they are being assigned to wait outside Wendy Williams' place right now. The more Wendy Williams content, the better, because the outlets believe that there's something going on with Wendy, and obviously it's sort of just like, she's not healthy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the crazy part about it. It's like, they're telling she's healthy, but they're like, no, we've seen her going in and out of smoke shops, the way she's acting. Can't imagine, like, I know she wants to get back on TV, but I don't know if a major network would kind of give her that.
They're not going to trust that right now. No way.
They're not going to put that money.
That's why she needs to do, like, she's doing this podcast, but I think that's the platform for her right now. Stuff that can be recorded and edited and is not live.
Not expensive, because no one wants to put money behind that. Yeah. There's
exactly.
Paparazzi are waiting outside our place all day and night now because they're just like, this is just tick, 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 tick. They're waiting for the boom. It's and I don't know what that boom's going to be, but they're just like, there's
something there.
There's something there. She's not right. So it's like weird. Like, you can't keep telling us she's great when we've seen it. She's not great. She can't really walk. Like, when you see her walking, someone's usually helping her walk. It's just
this is very like, I feel like her and Brittany are in very similar categories for me right now, where it's like the world being like, she's good, I'm good, and I'm like, I'm worried about you. I'm worried about the videos that I see of you and the way you handle yourself and the way you act. I'm like, I get it. It's popular to say she's doing great, but it's not what I think in my mind.
Yeah. All right. Number 7. Here's a story about our friend Larsa Pippen, one of our favorite.
You think she'd come back on? I should hit her up.
Absolutely not. But
I still have her phone number.
Number 2. She's super sweet. Now, would she come on? I don't. maybe she would come on, but she's
I mean, she
when
got
she's on, she
that.
said it all. I don't know what else there is to say. Like
Oh,
she was great.
she
If
was
you guys
awesome.
listen to our old episodes, make sure you check out our old Larsa Pippen episode. This is before, obviously her dating Michael
Marcus.
Jordan, yeah, Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son. But let's get into the story of Larsa.
She knows how to constantly get publicity, though. She is cut from the Kardashian threads. I'll tell you that much. So Larsa Pippen doesn't talk about Marcus Jordan to Scottie Pippen, her ex. So she sat down. She had an exclusive with People Magazine and talked all about her relationship with Marcus and how in love she is with him, and the whole question about, well, how is your relationship with Scottie Pippen then? And do you talk to Scottie about dating Marcus Jordan? Because obviously Scottie was on the same team with Michael Jordan, who is Marcus's dad, and do you talk? And she goes, no, we don't talk about who we're dating these days. We've got 4 children together. We focus on co-parenting and that aspect. We don't get into each other's dating life. And no, that's just not something we do. But then went on to really just gush about Marcus and say how in love she was, and say how like he feels like he was dropped from heaven into her lap, and how, they started off having a friendship, and then I guess one night they were at a club and some woman came up to start talking to Marcus, and she got jealous, and she's like, I'm not the jealous kind of person, but I'm like legit jealous of him talking to this girl. And that was where she goes, okay, something's different here. I really like him if I'm getting jealous. And that's where things took a turn. And so she had gone on to like again say like, he makes me so happy that if he said go and dye your hair green, I would do it, because if that makes him happy, that makes me happy. So she seems really like in love with the dude.
It's a very unique thing. I still can't believe it.
Why?
It's so wild. I mean, could you, looking back when we were with, Larsa, and she was talking about,
Mhm.
obviously, her fallout with Kim and everything, could you ever imagine her dating, of all the guys out there, Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, when she could have dated, I'm sure, a billionaire, a multi-millionaire. Like, there's so many other guys out there, but she fell for Marcus Jordan. Like, I don't even know what exactly he does
That's
besides he's
NBA royalty. She was married to NBA royalty. Now she's dating NBA royalty. I mean, she stays in
and it's a
that
big age
category.
difference. Big age difference of all the people. It's wild.
48 and he's 32. It's
It's a
not
good
that
gap.
crazy.
It's for you know what? If it was a guy and a girl, I don't think we'd look at it too weird. But with a girl and a guy, it's like the opposite what you see in the news. I don't judge. I don't care.
This age gap is nothing compared to another story that we're going to get to later down the road with Madonna. So this
Okay.
gap is pretty minimal.
Maybe David Foster and what's her name?
Oh, Catherine McPhee.
Catherine McPhee. That's a weird one. That's to me is a gnarly one.
All
She
right,
knows
let's
what
move
she's
on.
doing. All right, let's move on to number 6.
Number 6, the NYPD is apparently looking for Travis Scott following an alleged nightclub rampage. So this was kind of interesting. Weird story this week, but basically the police are searching for Travis Scott after he allegedly punched a sound engineer and caused $12,000 worth of damage at a Manhattan nightclub early Wednesday morning. Officers from the police department in Midtown Precinct responded to Club Nebula on West 41st Street at about 3:25 a.m. after a sound engineer said he was involved in a verbal dispute with Scott, according to the department statement. And then the rapper was accused of escalating the dispute into a physical altercation where he allegedly punched the victim with a closed fist in the left side of the face. And then was accused of causing about $12,000 worth of damage to a speaker and a video screen before fleeing the club. And so investigators are reviewing the club surveillance video, and they're looking for him. A spokesperson for Travis Scott said, no. This is just being blown out of proportion. They said, quote, while this is clearly a misunderstanding being blown out of proportion by clickbait and misinformation, we are actively working with the venue and law enforcement to resolve and set the record straight. And so we are confident our client will be cleared of any wrongdoing. So no one really knows what happened yet, but this could be bad for Travis. I feel like bad publicity is not a good thing for him on the heels of all the other things that have happened. You know what I'm saying?
The other things that happened regarding the Travis
The
concert.
incident at it, yeah, the concert. I feel like that just made him look really bad for a very long time. So for me, I'm like, stay out of trouble, buddy.
I saw Travis Scott during the. I didn't even care to watch him perform. To be honest, I was at the Super Bowl this past Super Bowl in Arizona at the Rolling Stones party, and it's weird. I was at dinner before at Nobu, and
Oh, fancy.
had to drop that. I didn't pay the bill. But he was there in the private room, and it's weird. I went into the back, and they snuck him out the back to like leave the place, and I get it because there was like tons of people outside. But the way he moves and operates, it's like him and his whole crew, they're like over caffeinated. Like they're just like weird. Like it's just like they're so like doesn't want to be seen, but he wants to be seen. Like it's just like it brings too much attention trying to avoid attention.
Oh,
And then
that's
it
like
was
people
weird.
wearing sunglasses like at night inside of a building. You're like, buddy, I know you're trying to go under the radar, but that looks way more obvious than not. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, where you always say his hat is so low that it looks weird that people look at him even more.
Yeah, and it's funny. So we were at I saw him earlier in the night. He was at Nobu, and like just it was a weird vibe. And I saw security there, and they wound up being cool to me after because someone vouched for me because they kind of know me, and they're like, "What's he doing here?" I'm like, "I'm eating, just like you are." Like like you can't stop. I mean, then they're like, they realized like I even said to them, I was like, "Guys, I don't even care. I'm not here for your guy. I don't care. Like he's not into it. Like I don't care about him." And then they kind of like eased up because I literally proved to him like I don't give a shit about Travis Scott. And then they were like, all right, fine, fuck it. But later that night, they had the red carpet for the Rolling Stones party, and Travis Scott was performing, and everyone like the publicists of the event were like, oh my god, Travis Scott's gonna walk the red carpet. Everyone get in line. Travis Scott's on the red carpet. And we're all laughing.
No
Like,
way.
like he's not going to walk the red carpet.
He's
He's not going to
not going to
stop
walk
for
the
a
red
photo.
carpet.
And then all of a sudden, like, they're like, all right, guys, get in position. He's going to walk the red carpet. We're like, guys, like, we're like, yeah, okay. No one's like even throwing out their cigarette. Like, he's not going to walk the red carpet. Sure enough, he skips the red carpet, and everyone's like, should we just shoot him like going in? Because he was still walking, like, he wasn't walking the red carpet, but he's walking on the side where, like, you could still shoot him if you wanted to. And the security was going crazy, like, no photos, no photos. Like, fuck you. Like, what are you going to do? Throw us out for shooting him when he doesn't want to walk a red carpet? We'll shoot him off the red carpet. Like, it doesn't matter. And they must have paid him, you know, what, $500,000, 700,000, $1 million to perform 4 songs. Who knows? But it was just, it's a very not comfortable energy to be around Travis Scott. So did he do it? I have no idea. I have no intel. However, don't put it past basically knowing the kind of energy that the whole group brings.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Yep.
Number 5.
Number 5, Jimmy Kimmel says Chris Rock should be proud of how he kept his cool after the whole Will Smith slap at the Oscars. So, you know, Jimmy is actually going to be hosting the Oscars this year. I think it's his 3rd time, if I remember correctly, hosting the Oscars. But, you know, he said, like, listen, hosting a show like this is not easy to do when it's live, when there's a lot of energy in the room. And for him to have taken that slap and not like retaliated, been super cool. He's like, you don't ever see something like that happen outside of like the Maury Povich show. And it's shocking. And then for it to be on the Oscars, it magnifies everything about 1 million times. So, you know, everyone obviously regrets stuff in the past, but he's like, I think down the road, we'll look back and we'll kind of laugh at this incident, or we'll just remember it as like, well, that was a really weird incident that happened, kind of like someone streaking at a sporting event. But he just kept saying like how like impressed he was that Chris Rock kept his cool. And he said, you know, I'm really looking forward to hosting the Oscars and see what this year has in store for me. But it does seem like Chris is going to address the whole Will Smith thing. He hasn't really talked about it. He's kind of kept it under wraps, but he's got a Netflix special that he is going to be recording. And during that Netflix special, Page Six is reporting that he is going to bring up material about the Oscars. He's taping that the stand-up special, I guess, on Saturday in Baltimore, and then it streams from the Hippodome Theater. I don't know what that is. Yeah. And it's interesting because it's like almost coinciding with the Oscars, which are going to be March 12th.
Yeah,
so smart.
Yeah, so that was my story, by the way, with page 6. Props to
Nice.
me. That was my story. Thank you very much, guys, for giving you a story that means absolutely nothing. But yeah, I think I agree with Jimmy Kimmel that Chris Rock deserves a lot of praise for how cool he acted during that, being on live TV, just getting hit and just kind of moving along smoothly. I don't think people realize how tough a situation like that is, how insane of a situation that is. So I agree with Jimmy Kimmel. As far as Chris Rock addressing it, yes, Chris Rock, he's been touring for the last year and a half, year. And he hasn't addressed the slap situation at all in his stand-up bit. And remember, right after the Oscar situation, he was doing a big theater in Boston, and people started heckling him, and there's so many cameras on him, and I mean, it was cameras all over him. Like, is Chris Rock going to address it? Everyone's trying to fight for the interview, and Chris' first joke, not even joke, said, in the beginning of his first show after the Oscar situation, like, "Hey guys, I'm not going to talk about it," and just went right into his act. And basically for a year, he's basically has not talked about it at all. However, this is a story I did that Chris has been working with a lot of comedians and writers to work on a good bit to address it, because his whole situation was, if I do an interview, let's say Good Morning America or the Today Show, and I talk about the situation, the only person I'm helping out is the Today Show or Good Morning America. However, like, I want to make money on this. So he knows it's going to bring more eyes and attention to this stand-up special. And he's been quietly very chill working on, like, he hasn't done the jokes at a performance.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's been working on what he's going to say with writers to make sure it's funny.
Gotcha. No, I think it's really smart publicity move. Stay quiet, and now a year later, right alongside the Oscars, everyone's going to be talking about it again, and you release your special.
It's so good. It's right before the Oscars. The Oscars are in 2 weeks. The special's coming out. We're going to be recording. It's going to be live on Netflix. So I'm excited. I'm interested to watch it. I love Chris Rock. I think was one of the best specials ever. Moving along, number 4.
And sorry, I am excited to see what Jimmy says during the taping of the show. He's going to have to reference that moment. I'm just curious what they're going to say. Who's going to present Best Actor? Because normally it's the previous Best Actor winner, but Will can't really be there. So curious to see what happens. All right. What number did you say we're on?
4.
Number 4. So if you've been on TikTok over the last couple of days, you'll see that Aubrey Plaza was making a lot of news. There was an account on TikTok that had basically saw her up on stage at the Screen Actors Guild Awards and focused in on when the whole cast went up there to get an award. You see one of her co-stars kind of whisper to her, and then she like clutches her boobs and then looks really like pissed off. And so they were like, why? It looks like she says like Jesus fuck or Jesus Christ or something. Like, she looks really upset. And so all the TikTok sleuths were going crazy trying to figure out what exactly happened. John Gries, is that how you say his name? John Gries?
Sounds good enough to me. Yeah.
Gries, maybe. Apparently had kind of like leaned over and said, hey, mention something to her. Well, he said to Page 6 that he told her to look to the front because she was being blocked by cast members in the front, and added you might want to fix that first, referring to, because she had like a lot of like under boob in that like gold strappy dress that she was wearing. And keep in mind, it was intentional under boob. Like, that was the whole point of it. So it's kind of funny. He thinks that she was just being silly. Like, she's already a funny chick, and that she was just being silly or goofy, that she wasn't actually mad at all. And that her publicist, or not her publicist, her stylist confirmed that that was planned underboob. So like, everything you're seeing, she knew what she was doing. So if anyone is to blame for this whole incident, it's just the TikTok sleuthing culture for looking into something that wasn't really there, is basically what they're chalking that up to.
Yeah, I mean, part of me understands that, but also I understand that TikTok people just kind of make a big deal about nothing and just kind of, however,
Well, did you watch the video?
I did watch the video, and I feel bad for everyone else who's on stage, because you take away the attention from the award. You take away from the attention from everyone who works so hard to receive something like that. Like, that's...
Yeah, but that's what underboob's going to do anyway, no matter what.
True, but I mean, she made it about herself rather than about the show. At that time, it was like, just be cool, like just chill, do nothing. I don't know. But yet again,
She was like
maybe
one of like 15 people up there. You had to be looking for her. That TikTok account literally zoomed in on her.
true. A TikTok didn't help it. But if I was her, I would just be like, just chill. Just relax. It's not about you. It's about like the award and about the group. No, but I will say this. I think what Aubrey Plaza did with the girl who plays Wednesday,
Yeah.
there on stage giving an award was so fun and cute and cool. Like actually, it made me like that girl who plays Wednesday a lot. I was like, oh, she's good. Like I didn't watch. I watched the first episode of that Wednesday show. It's a little too young for me.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, she's really talented. The girl who plays Wednesday. Like I kind of dig her.
Smart. I don't want to say casting, but smart casting essentially for the presenters of that show. They did a good job, like
Great
making a viral moment out of two people presenting, because that can normally be pretty boring. You don't normally care who's presenting.
Yeah, no, they were great together. All right, let's move on to number 3.
Justin Bieber, it seems like, has canceled the remaining stops on his Justice World Tour. If you remember, he had canceled a bunch months ago because he needed to take a break after being diagnosed with the Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. And I think that was back in like June of 2022. He just said, hey, I got to stop right now. I need to focus on my health. And there was like a bunch of stops all over the U.S. Well, now it looks like the remaining stops have all been canceled. The international stops he had basically in Ireland, France, Poland, Australia, Denmark, Czech Republic, and I guess there was a few more in the US that all have kind of now disappeared off Ticketmaster. And so it looks like that's going to be done and done. And I don't know, if this is still his Ramsay-Hunt syndrome that he's dealing with. I don't know. He hasn't really put out anything as to why the rest of them are canceled. So we can only just assume it's still a medical reason.
Yeah, I think it's it'd kind of be worth money if you bought a shirt for that concert, because it's a tour that didn't really go complete. So I think that
can you sorry, this is a dumb question because I'm not a person who buys concert shirts. Do you get them before you go? I thought it was like something you get while you're there.
There's always like the brokers, but usually get them while you're there. But there's some shirts that have like maybe a logo on the front and all the dates on the back. You know what I mean? That they're going to sell at all the shows.
Yeah, but
so if you got one of the shirts at like the beginning of the concert, like when
did he even start the concert?
That's the part I wonder. I thought he did a few shows and then he just had to cancel it.
Let's see. So it said he seemingly hit pause on the tour after previously postponing. Okay, no. I don't remember if he ever started, or I don't remember. I'm racking my brain right now thinking about it, but I mean, it would be kind of funny to have a shirt for a tour that never actually happened.
I think it'd be a fun shirt to. I actually think there's like a value to that. Like it's like having almost like a baseball from the year that they went on strike and they didn't have a season. It's like kind of like a cool thing to have. Like, here, I have this Justin Bieber tour shirt for a tour that didn't.
Good memorabilia.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a cool memorabilia thing. But that's not the only like sort of Justin Bieber and kind of connection. Our number 2 story has a little bit of a connection to Justin Bieber.
So there's whole theory going around that Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber are having a feud on the internet. I'm having a hard time buying it. There are little things. So it's kind of like a Selena, Kylie Jenner / Hailey Bieber feud, right? Like so basically what happened was Selena Gomez retook her title as the queen of Instagram recently, which she stole away from Kylie Jenner. And so the world went to go like, oh God, is Kylie going to be pissed that her title has now been stripped away from her as the most followed person on Instagram? And basically there was this video where Selena Gomez had posted, and she was talking about her eyebrows and how they were super styled or something like this. And she doesn't normally do it. And then right after that, Kylie Jenner then put up a video of her with her eyebrows and saying like, oh, I'm doing it now for the first time. And people took it as shade. Okay. I don't know why that's shady, but we're gonna go with this Instagram rumor that was going around. And then Hailey Bieber jumped in and she also did the eyebrows. They like zoomed in close on the eyebrows. the world took that as shade. I still don't know why the world took that as shade, but we're gonna go there. But where it does get interesting is that there was this old clip that surfaced of Hailey Bieber kind of making fun of Taylor Swift, and it was a clip from a show that they did like ages ago, and the Taylor's name gets brought up, and Hailey kind of does this like gagging face, like and Selena ended up posting on that video and basically saying my best friend is still the most talented person, referring to Taylor Swift, and continues to be one of the best in the game. And because she commented on it, the world was like, oh, here we go. Selena is now starting beef with Hailey Bieber, and she's now deleted it. And all of them have basically come out and said, like, we don't have beef. This is all childish. Like, stop obsessing over us. Let's move along with life. But the world is still convinced that they all hate each other.
Are you over this?
I was over it before even starting to talk about it.
I am so sick of talking about like the whole Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez feud. It's just, is the internet
the world
alive, or what is going on here?
Yes, the world wants to keep the world wants them to hate each other because of Justin Bieber. You know, like Selena, if you watched her documentary, she was like, I don't want to be asked Justin Bieber questions. I don't want to continue talking about a relationship that has been over for years. But every time I do anything, or every time anything comes up, it's always like Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber. It's got to be fucking annoying. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
It's like the Jen and
Brand.
Angelina. It's like at a point they're like, can we move on with our goddamn lives here? We just need closure and to move on.
So who's at fault here? Obviously, the internet.
Justin Bieber, exactly.
Justin Bieber. But is at fault the internet's always going to be talking. Twitter is always like these weird random Twitter people in Dubai or whatever they are just fucking talking about this. But does the news, the media, does the headlines, the tabloids, do they make it worse by addressing the internet?
Yes.
And they're like, no,
we're making it worse by talking about this damn thing that's like not even real.
So are we making a thing, unless there's some real news to it, we are done on the Hollywood Raw podcast talking about Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, and Selena Gomez feud?
Yes, unless they do something again tomorrow.
Okay. So we're done for the day. Yeah. It's just, listen, I get it. It sucks. I'm annoyed by it too, guys. I'm sorry that we had to talk you through this, but it's crazy. This was a very big story this week. And I was like, I didn't want to read the story, but for my job, I have to. But I was like, if I saw it and I didn't have to do it for my job, I would never read the story. Because
it was funny because even like going back and explaining, I'm like, I told Adam before the start, I was like, this is one story that I feel like I have to talk myself into there being anything like real about it just to even talk about it. I'm like, dragging it out of me to get to talk about it. Okay, let's move on.
All right, our number one story of the week.
Number one story of the week that Adam broke last week on this Raw rundown, that Madonna's got a new boyfriend and apparently met the new boyfriend through one of her son's like hobbies. So this is kind of interesting.
I'll tell you a story because
you tell it.
I sold it. I mean, someone paid for the story. But we broke last week. We broke the story last week, and it became a big story this week. Madonna has a new guy in her life. She's got a type, obviously. She has a type. And
young. That's it.
Young.
And
fit,
ripped.
Yeah. And I do have a Madonna story. Remind me, and I know early in the story, the number 10 story I said about the Drake fight. I do have a Madonna fight story that I will tell eventually, but I'm scared.
So should we do like a fighting episode? Because it seems like I
haven't got really abused on the episode. It'd basically be me for an hour talking about like all my celebrity fights. And there's not that many, but the ones I had are legendary. This one is like my craziest fight. This one actually, I'm scared to tell the story because I'm still in fear of it. and it's a weird, wild story. Anyway, Madonna's got a new guy in her life. She is dating a boxer. But he's also a trainer by the name of Josh Popper. He's a trainer actually his gym is in the same building as the gym I work out in New York City. So I see this guy all the time.
Okay.
I've met him before. Nice guy. But Madonna's son has been training as a boxer and just for workout.
Is this her son David?
I don't know which son exactly.
Because she's not like super tight with Rocco right now, right?
Yeah, she's not.
And David's the one that actually boxes, and they've gone to boxing events together. So I'm assuming it's David.
Yeah, so this guy was training, let's say David, and then basically Madonna had a thing for him, and then they started really hanging out and enjoying each other's company. And now Madonna is having her dancers being trained by this guy Josh. Josh actually it's a pretty good week to be this guy Josh, because on Monday he was on Bravo's Summer House because he was on a date with one of the cast members of the show, one of the new cast members. So people are like, oh, here's this guy. Then the next 2 days later, he's making even bigger news saying like, I'm over this girl. I'm dating, I'm hooking up with Madonna. And then if you go on his Instagram page, you see actually the photos of him and Madonna. I guess Madonna went to go see him train or do a fight, and they look very cozy.
Can
and
you
happy.
imagine though, like your mom's Madonna and you're like, God damn, I can't do any, like I can't bring friends over to the house. My mom's gonna date them, like because she's dated a lot of like really young people, and I think she's met some of them through like her kids and stuff.
Yeah,
that's gotta be annoying.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. I mean, Madonna's just on one. This guy's young too. He's probably like late 20s, early 30s. He's from South Jersey. Madonna's, she's been around a lot lately. We've been seeing a lot of Madonna.
A lot of Madonna
lately, and people are always questioning how she looks. But again,
all right, I gotta wrap this up because I got the Jason show here in like 4 minutes, going live on Fox.
Yes, you are doing the
for
Jason show.
For all my friends in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we obviously tape this the rundowns normally a day early, so we can have time to edit and stuff. But for everyone out in Minneapolis, I'm going to be on the Jason show here in a couple of minutes, so I gotta get out of here.
Thank you guys for listening. This is our top 10 stories of the week. Leave a review, please. We need some reviews. If you already did one, grab your partner's phone. Say a few kind words, 5 stars, make it fun, funny. I don't care. Just fucking have fun. Leave us a review. Follow us on TikTok at Hollywood Raw Pod. We're also on Instagram. We also have a Facebook group called Off the Record, which is
the best.
It's really, really fun. It's been awesome. Follow me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Guys, hope you liked that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best thing you do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.